And now, College Game Day from famed Fog Allen Fieldhouse. Enjoy.
Fitting since combustible elements will fill Fog Allen Fieldhouse for the Sunflower State Showdown with Kansas State tonight. Coming up on College Game Day, the Wildcats' Michael Beasley is blowing up, but is K-State star having the most impressive freshman season ever? We'll debate. And Boomer, bust. Offense turned desolate as a dust bowl. We'll go behind the scenes as Oklahoma tries to rediscover the O and OU. College Game Day is caught in the fog. Come along with us.
Welcome to College Game Day, driven by State Farm.
The jubilation in Manhattan after the first meeting is still not well received here in Lawrence. Kansas hoping to return the favor against Kansas State after Michael Beasley, the star freshman of the Wildcats, promised, we're going to beat them at home. We're going to beat them at their house. We're going to beat them in Africa. Wherever we play, we're going to beat them. That was before the season. It has not been forgotten here in Lawrence. In fact, Beasley has said he wouldn't mind taking this rivalry to Australia because he likes kangaroos. Michael's a little bit playful, and this joint is going to be jumping tonight. Kansas State rolling in here after their victory in Manhattan earlier to take on arch rival Kansas. Glad to have you along one of our favorite stops on the College Game Day Tour, Fog Allen Fieldhouse. Reese Davis, Hubert Davis, Tigger Phelps, and Jay Billis. Glad to have you along. It's going to be a great matchup tonight. Kansas is undefeated in this building this season, and Fog Allen has seen some of the sublime talents in college basketball. Wilt Chamberlain, Danny Manning, and now one from this era, Michael Beasley, Digger, comes into a crowd that is ready for him tonight.
Let me just say this. You never make a statement where you say, we're going to beat them at their house. That's in the locker room. That's all Bill Self has to do. They'll take care of business tonight.
And with 6 freshmen, Kansas State is going to have a lot to process. They haven't been great on the road, and this is the toughest place in the Big 12 to play on the road.
Yeah, but you look at Beasley. He's been dominant on both ends of the floor. He doesn't have a weakness offensively. The Wildcats, they want an AC Law type of performance here in Jayhawk City.
The last time we were here with College Game Day, AC Law was spectacular. Texas A&M got the road win, and road win hard to come by as the calendar is now flipped to March, a little over 2 weeks away from Selection Sunday. Road wins can certainly help the committee and help the resume. Saturday slate rolling Tar Heels first.
North Carolina at Boston College. Ty Lawson is coming back, and he's coming back to a better team because of Quentin Thomas. He is now confident, capable, recruited here at KU, and Tyler Hansbrough has been magnificent. He leads the ACC in scoring and rebounding over the last 7 games, over 22 points per game. No other player in the BCS conferences can say that.
Memphis at Southern Mississippi. Yes, they're upset with that home loss to Tennessee, but it's take care of business now in Conference USA. You're going to see him go up and down, use the bench. Derrick Rose lead the core. Chris Douglas Robert getting it done outside. Joey Dorsey inside. They're on the road to get to the Final Four and win that national title.
Texas at Texas Tech. Texas is the only team in the country to beat 3 of the top 6 opponents. They've won 8 games in a row. First place in the Big 12. They have one of the best point guards in the country in DJ Augustine. They're playing terrific defense, but don't give them the game yet. Texas Tech has already knocked off 2 ranked opponents at home this year.
Duke traveling to NC State. The Blue Devils gave up 96 to Miami. Hey, these guys don't like NC State. What's the matter with them? They don't like NC State. DeMarcus Nelson is having an All-America caliber season, and Duke is going to have to pay very close attention to J.J. Hickson, leading the ACC in field goal percentage, a beast inside, but NC State's lost 7 in a row.
Washington State at Stanford. How do you handle the Lopez brothers? You don't. Robin gets it done when he wants to play the defense. We know what Brook is scoring the offense. Wazoo winning at Cal would love to get a sweep this weekend. It's not going to happen. Stanford will be a 2 seed. You don't want to play them. They'll be in the Sweet 16.
Georgetown at Marquette. The Golden Eagles have won 5 games in a row and only a half a game out of the coveted top 4 in the Big East. Dominique Jeans had a career-high 5 threes earlier in this week. They're going to need help down low with big guys like Osman Barrow to compete against a big and athletic Georgetown team that is tied for first place in the Big East.
Well, you know, life on the road impacted the top 5 greatly over the last 8 days. First, Tennessee went into #1 Memphis, got the road win, went to the top of the polls. Then the Volunteers went to Vanderbilt and got beat. So in the span of 8 days, the #1 team in the nation, 0-2. So here's how it all shakes out. You can almost wipe the slate clean as we start March and start over. We asked America, who's the best team in the country? Nearly 53% now say it is North Carolina. All right, Jay, no more pressure to vote for the undefeated team. No pressure to vote for the team that beat the unbeaten squad in their house. Do you agree with America? Is Carolina the best team in the country?
Carolina's a good choice, but I think it's UCLA. UCLA's got 4 or 5 pros on that team, and now that they're healthy, because remember, Darren Collison was out for a period. It took him a while to get back in. Russell Westbrook emerged as an all-conference player. Westbrook is a big-time performer at the guard spot. They've got Kevin Love inside, great balance, post and perimeter. And remember, they've got 4 guys that are averaging 13 points or better. That's a terrific team.
You're right, Jay. Darren Collison is playing absolutely terrifically, but I have to say Texas, they've won 8 games in a row. Their point guard, DJ Augustine, is playing terrific basketball. Defensively, they've been terrific. In their last 8 games, they're holding teams to under 35%. And now they're getting help from the bench. Clint Chapman, J.D. Lewis, Gary Johnson, Dexter Pittman coming off the bench and helping them out. I think Texas, and they beat UCLA at Pauley Pavilion, is playing the best in the country right now.
It's going to be interesting with North Carolina because now that they get Ty Lawson back and he gets ready to play, Quentin Thomas is blended into that backcourt. Carolina will be the team to beat, but I'm not quitting on Memphis. Why? The pressure's off. They're not worrying about being undefeated. They want to get to the Final Four. So Memphis, with Derrick Rose at that freshman, still could be the team to beat.
I still think they need another loss.
No.
You think they get better for another loss?
Just one more.
How do you think Memphis is going to change now, Digger? They got that loss they so desperately need. Their focus are locked in now.
See you in Antonio.
All right, we'll see if they make it to San Antonio. Did you notice how he just slipped it by the Kansas people here? They thought Texas was the best team in the country, the Texas team that leads Kansas by a game in the Big 12. I think we know what Hubert thinks already, but what did Jay and Digger think? Who's the better team in the Big 12, Kansas or Texas? Remember the Longhorns that only beat the Jayhawks and UCLA. They've also beaten Tennessee. We'll see if the Horns are the best team in the country. And meet the kid who Digger Phelps believes may be the best freshman ever in college basketball, Michael Beasley, in his own words. And nothing is off limits. All access deep behind the scenes with Oklahoma as they try to stay on the good side of the bubble. Plus, Howie Mandel, you better get out of the way. Deal or no deal, college basketball style.
Game Day is driven by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And in part by the first ever G8 from Pontiac, the official performance machines of the NCAA.
Still in the Kansas locker room, perhaps just to vex Billis. The Jayhawk on the carpet that you are not to step on. It's hallowed ground. Jay continues to wonder if you can't step on it, why put it on the floor? I want to show a little respect for that big bird. It's brought so much pleasure here in Lawrence. You know, Oklahoma Oklahoma seemed to scoff in the general direction of the bubble after 3 scintillating victories, but a couple or 20 clang jumpers later, and the Sooners hit the road with more despair seen by a band traveling from Oklahoma since the Jodes headed out west in the Grapes of Wrath. Much more, all access behind the scenes on Oklahoma's ill-fated voyage to Nebraska.
That point guard right there, Miller, he's very, very good at penetrating and finding guys. He's small, but like I've told you guys before, he's been small his whole life, and he's very effective. He knows how to play. The question I have is, how bad do we want to get to the NCAA tournament? Okay, that's something we talked about, and we talk about it all the time, but how bad do we really want to get there? Because if we really mean what we say, then we'll come out here tonight, we'll be ready to fight. That's what it's going to take to win on the road and to win against this team. We got to come ready to fight. Let's create something special together. Let's take another step together. In order to do that, man, everyone in here is going to have to be ready to play your ass off, all right? Let's go.
He's hooking him. Watch 21 hooking him, please. Please. Thank you. It's embarrassing. It ain't nothing that I'm drawing up right here or not drawing up right here. It's right there in every one of you guys right there. We got 20 minutes to fight for our season. 20 minutes. We have dug ourselves an incredible hole, and they got all kind of confidence. We got to go out and we got to seize it right now. Soft. And what teams are doing is that they're saying Oklahoma is soft. Let's get after them because they are soft. It's almost like, and this is the thing I feared, and I told you guys this, after we beat Baylor, because of how we won, how exciting it was, everyone's patting you on the back, telling you how good you are. You're watching SportsCenter, you're the top play, 2 of the top 3 plays. And that's, man, all that is punches to the midsection. And it made us weak. We got 2 days. Everything we want to accomplish, we can still accomplish. But I'm going to tell you right now, unless we turn it around, unless we get tough, and unless we play tough, not just freaking talk about it. I'm tired of talking about it. Unless we do that, it's not going to happen for us. And that'll be a shame because of all the stuff we've overcome so far this year. Let's go right here. 1, 2, 3.
Oklahoma has Texas A&M today, and the Sooners coming off back-to-back 45-point performances against Nebraska and against Texas. But the RPI and strength of schedule are still outstanding. They're just a hair below 500 in the Big 12. Oklahoma, one of those teams, sitting there perhaps not as comfortable as in hope at this stage, a little over 2 weeks away from Selection Sunday. Guys, time to do a little in or out. You know how we like to do it. We suppose we get to the end of our bracket and we have 2 spots remaining on the board. 4 teams vying for those 2 available tournament bids. Here are the 4 teams: Wake Forest, Arizona State, West Virginia, Arkansas. All with various holes in the resume, also with positive points. In or out, Wake Forest, Hubert?
You know, I've got Wake Forest out. They've got 2 wins in the top 25. They've lost 2 in a row. They missed a great opportunity to beat North Carolina without Ty Lawson. They're 6 and 7 in ACC play, and they only had to play North Carolina, Duke, and Clemson just once.
Yeah, the win over Duke doesn't mean that much when you're 6 and 7 in the ACC because the ACC isn't as strong as it's been in the past. They need to do more damage. They are definitely out.
You know, Wake Forest is a good team, but I agree with you guys. I think they're out. They're 2 and 8 on the road. They haven't won against good competition away from their building. So I would say Wake in this group of 4 is out.
How deep is the Pac-10? Arizona State.
You know, I've got Arizona State in 4 wins in the top 25, including beating Xavier. They're 7 and 8 in the toughest conference in college basketball. That's the Pac-10, but they've lost 8 of their last 11.
Arizona State is in. I love what they've done in their conference play, knocking off Stanford and Arizona twice. You can't beat Arizona twice and let Arizona go ahead of them. Get them in.
I think Arizona State is in. They've won 5 road games. You guys have mentioned Xavier, Stanford. They beat Arizona twice. They also beat Oregon and won on the road at Cal. They've got to be rewarded for how they played.
What about West Virginia, in or out?
You know, I've got West Virginia in. They don't have any big non-conference wins. Their strength of schedule is not good, but they're 9 and 6 in the Big East, but they only had to play the top 5 teams just once in conference play.
They are in. They're 9-6 in the Big East. They got 3 games left. They win 2 of those games. That's 11 wins. You can't leave a Big East team out with 11 wins because of the strength of their conference.
Boy, if only that were the way it works. They've beaten Marquette, they've beaten Syracuse, but that's it. They're 1-5 against the top 50, 2-6 against the top 100. I think West Virginia, as to this group of 4, would be on the outside.
Arkansas, harmful loss to Alabama, in or out?
Yeah, I've got Arkansas out. They've got 5 wins in the top 50, but they're 7-6 in the weaker SEC West. They've lost 4 out of the last 5. Got a great opportunity today to beat Vanderbilt.
But they had a bad loss this week against Alabama. You can't do that. They're 7-6 in the conference. They have a lot of work to do, and definitely they're out.
I think Arkansas's in. They've got a top 50 schedule. They won 5 games on the road. They've beaten Baylor. They've beaten Mississippi State, Virginia Commonwealth. They beat Florida. This is a good team. I think they're a little bit better than West Virginia, so I'm putting them in.
All right, let's sum it up here. All of you have Wake Forest out. All of you have Arizona State in, but then a difference of opinion. Jay has West Virginia as his second team out. The other 2 guys believing that the other team out would be Arkansas. John Wooden, the legendary UCLA coach, suffered a fall at home in his condo last night and is recovering in a Los Angeles area hospital. Wooden suffered a fractured left wrist and a fractured left collarbone, but is said to be in good spirits. Certainly our best wishes going out to Coach Wooden and wishing him a very speedy recovery. College Game Day rolls on from Fog Allen Fieldhouse here in Lawrence, Kansas, and Kansas State tonight. Whole lot of hype about the freshman class. It's the cream of the crop, perhaps one and done. We'll examine the great freshman classes and what's it like to play for the Jayhawks. Jay Billis takes us on the floor with head coach Bill Self. It takes a long time to call the roll of legends here at Kansas. Some of the great names in the history of the sport, including Danny Manning on staff here now, led Danny and the Miracles to the 1988 National Championship. It says this Kansas team better than his team that won the title in '88. And the legacy runs deep here in Lawrence, and it starts with a man who invented the game, Dr. James Naismith, the only coach in Kansas history with a losing record. Fog Allen was once told by Naismith, basketball is a game to be played, not coached for us, but plenty of great coaches have started here, including Adolph Rupp, who built his legend at Kentucky. Dean Smith, a member of the 1952 National Championship team at Kansas before moving on, and Wilt Chamberlain, one of the great dominant big men in the history of the game, estranged from the school for a while, but a great reconciliation.
I've learned over the years that you must learn to take the bitter with the sweet, and how sweet this is right here. All right, I'm telling you that. Yeah, and this is really, I'm a Jayhawk, and I know now why there's so much tradition here and so many wonderful things that have come from here, and I'm now very much a part of it by being there and very proud of it. Rod Chalk, Jayhawk.
What a moving reunion that was when Wilt Chamberlain came back to Lawrence. For years he had blamed himself for the loss in the national championship game in 57 triple overtime to North Carolina. This edition of the Jayhawks by the numbers. They lead the Big 12 in scoring, field goal percentage, and in steals per game. Great defensive pressure for Bill Self's team. 10 conference wins for 14 straight seasons. Sustained excellence for the Jayhawks, and they lead the nation in scoring differential, more than 20 per game, because they get great shots. Jay Billis shows us how with head coach Bill Self.
Kansas has always been a really efficient basketball team on the offensive end because they make great use of their big guys. And under Bill Self, the high-low set has always been a staple of his offense. And, Bill, let's take a look at your high-low set and exactly how you use it.
Okay, we don't run as much high-low as we used to. But in this particular situation, Tyrell's got the ball above the free throw line extended. So Darnell's posting between the ball and the basket, maybe even beneath the direct line between the ball and the basket to force Matt to guard on the high side. We love it when the defender guards on the high side. Now, with this being said right now Shady right here has got to get open on Cole, and it's very important that as he steps across Cole's body, he gets open right in the sweet spot of the floor, so that way there is no weak or strong help defensively. We want it right in we call this a sweet spot. When he catches it, he will cheat step for balance. Show him how to do that, Shady. Show him how to cheat step first. Cheat step for balance, boom, shot, and that's our first look, and the second look is dump right here.
Now, as Shady gets the ball up top, he's in the middle of the lane so that there's no weak or strong side help. This is all isolated. And as he gets the ball, then Darnell's got to move his man up the lane so he can create some space, correct?
We want to create as much space as possible. Now, we think we have good passers, but we want to give room for a bad pass here, because if Darnell does not create space, that has to be a perfect pass to have a chance to score. If he creates plenty of space, now Shady can be off target just a little bit, throw the ball, and then Darnell can still chase the ball down and get an easy two.
Well, let's take a look at this in full speed, guys. Let's go high-low and full speed. Ball in the wing, cut across the cheat step, move him up the lane. That's a pretty efficient finish. Kansas always shoots over 50% for a season because they're efficient offensively and they get the ball inside, and the high-low is one of the ways they do it. Reese?
All right, James, giving Kansas 25 wins so far, but 1 win short of the Big 12 lead at the moment. Kansas and Texas, 2 of the elite teams in the country and certainly in this conference. And we put the question to America, who is the best team in the Big 12? Kansas leads the standings by a game. They won the matchup of the regular season in Austin. And at the moment, it is the Jayhawks in America's vote by the slimmest of margins as the best team in the Big 12, nearly 51%. America believes that Kansas is the best team in the Big 12. Who do you believe is the best team in the conference?
You know, I love Kansas. I think throughout the year I've said that Kansas is probably the best team in the country, but they've struggled over the last couple of weeks shooting the ball, particularly from three-point range. They struggled with turnovers. But the key for me is Sharon Collins. I think he's a game changer, particularly in a half-court set, a guy that can break down the defense, get other guys involved. I don't know if he's 100% or not, but he has been struggling.
Who's the best team?
Who's the best team?
Answer the question. Texas or Kansas?
I think Kansas is the best team, but I think Texas is playing better right now.
Well, that's hard to argue with. Talk about the waffling.
Hey,
he'll have waffles for breakfast.
From him, he wanted to run for president. Now you could.
I'm the vice president.
I think it's Kansas. I think Kansas, even though Texas is playing great, and they've got great guards, and they've got a big guy in Connor Ashley that can step away and stretch you. I think Kansas is the better team. I think Kansas is built for success in the postseason.
No, I'll answer the question. It's Texas. Why? Well, understand why. Here's what happened. Look at those wins. They win at UCLA. They take care of business with Kansas at home. They beat Tennessee. But they won at Kansas State, and Kansas lost at Kansas State. Kansas started the season 20-0. They are now 5-3 the last 8 games. Texas has an 8-game winning streak. They are hot. Kansas is not. The loss to Oklahoma State set them back.
They're booing
I'm
you.
going with the Longhorns as the best team now in the Big 12.
So we just do it by transitive property of equality? Is that how we get there?
I got there.
What about the eye test? Kansas is better.
Okay, what makes them better by the eye test to you?
They're a more efficient team. They can score inside a little bit better. I think they're better defensively, and I think that's going to make the difference. The one thing that Texas has in their advantage that I don't think Kansas has is they've got breakdown guards that can really score. I mean, I think DJ Augustine and A.J. Abrams are probably the best guard tandem. UCLA is right with them with Darren Collison and Russell Westbrook, but I would put Texas at the top with their guards' ability to score.
Kansas has trouble closing games. That's what happened to Oklahoma State. That's what happened when we lost to Texas, and you can't do that, especially at Kansas State when they lost that game. And when they learn to close games, they get a chance to get to the Final Four and win it. But right now, Texas is the best in the Big 12.
That's why Kansas needs Sharon Collins to step up. He's that guy that can break you down offensively.
He's got to be the
played
AC
19
Law.
games. He's averaging 8 points, only 2 assists and two turnovers. He's the guy that can make everybody
He's got to be
better.
their AC Law. What AC Law did last year for Texas
Exactly.
A&M, that's what he's got to do this year. Now, starting now, tonight against K-State, get it done.
And he's hoping that he'll be able to take his team a step further than Kansas went in the tournament last year. Certainly Bill Self hopes that a Final Four trip is in the offing for his Jayhawks. Himself has slipped into Fog Allen Fieldhouse to check out the festivities as the Jayhawks get set to take on Kansas State tonight. Coming up on College Game Day, best freshman ever. Michael Beasley's put up huge numbers. Is it the best season that anybody's had? And now as we look ahead to the tournament, what's the best a team can hope for? What kind of deal could they get? Deal or no deal? Sick, ridiculous numbers for the Kansas State freshman Michael Beasley. 11 times this year he scored 30 or more points. In fact, he's got 3 40-point games, and he's not just a scoring machine. He also works the window. 24 double-doubles. That's a Division I freshman record, and 1 away from tying Kansas Drew Gooden's Big 12 record of 25. And he's scoring over 26 points per game. That is good for third in the nation to go along with his status as the nation's leading rebounder. So Beasley's numbers are an absolute joke, and there's not much that Beasley enjoys more than a good joke. Hours of dissecting film not only include the intricacies of handling a junk defense, but also the subtleties of living in a pineapple under the sea. The self-avowed SpongeBob fan says the two are a lot alike. So transcendent and scoring for purple does he? Michael Beasley.
How was my game described? Punishing, smooth, silky, beef. Outside, inside, monster. Think you can hold me? Think again. Somebody told me when I was younger, a man do what he want, a sucker do what he can. Beasley! I can pretty much do what I want, you know? Take any shot, you know, you can't stop me. My childhood was crazy. Typical bad neighborhood, hanging with the wrong crowds, not knowing where I'm gonna sleep one night and how I'm gonna eat the next, you know. I really don't think anybody else in America, or the world for that fact, can go through what I've been through and still be in the position that I am now. I think there's no feeling in the world, you know, like grabbing your first rebound over a 7-footer or over 3 defenders. People tell me, you know, a lot of people can score. Grab 20 rebounds a game, you can make money in this league. Why do I like SpongeBob? He's a funny guy, you know. I remember the first time I watched his show, you know, I just couldn't stop laughing. SpongeBob is just a stand-up guy. I got SpongeBob sheets, SpongeBob cup holders, SpongeBob underwear, SpongeBob socks. I got everything you can think of.
Here comes Beasley. He won't miss this one.
Should I be player of the year? Nah, that doesn't bother me, you know. I really don't want player of the year. You can score 50 points a night and lose every game and be the player of the year. I want a national championship. I want rings. I don't care about player of the year.
Second straight year, the Big 12 has a big-time freshman putting up some crazy numbers. These two guys, childhood buddies in the D.C. area, Kevin Durant, Michael Beasley. Michael Beasley's team hasn't won quite as many games yet as Kevin Durant did, but they have certainly put up very similar numbers, though their games are not necessarily similar. Durant hailed as perhaps the best freshman in the recent era. There have been some great freshmen historically, put together seasons that did not necessarily compare statistically to what Michael Beasley's been able to do. Michael Jordan, for instance, averaged a little over 13 points per game. He did hit the game-winning shot in the national title game in 1982. Purvis Ellison, over 15 points per game, 9.5 rebounds as Louisville went on to win the national championship in 1986. And in a recent vintage, the freshman against whom all others are measured, Carmelo Anthony, the third freshman to be the Final Four most outstanding player. And it's still a little bit of a thorn in the side of the fans here because it was Kansas and Syracuse beat for the national championship in 2003. Beasley has definitely stepped up statistically. Is his season the best freshman season ever?
The season is. Yes, I say that. Why? Because he's a complete player. He knows how to go up and down the floor. He can rebound. He can score facing the basket or his back to the basket. But there's been 2 stoppers in the last 2 losses. When you look at how they lost at Nebraska, Nebraska started the game in a box in a 1-2-3 zone. He didn't score for 9 minutes. The second half when they lost to Texas the other night, when Texas went 2-3 zone, he only had 3 shots. The last 3 minutes of the game, can't do that. He's got to learn how to adjust.
He's having a great season. Statistically, he's been absolutely fantastic. I think he's he's the #1 pick. There's no question about it. But I think we're losing a little bit of perspective here on some of the great players that have gone before. Now, Wayman Tisdale of Oklahoma doesn't get the credit for it because when the Big 8 went to the Big 12, they kind of erased all those records and left him with a Big 8. But Wayman Tisdale had a pretty good freshman year himself. He averaged 24 points, 11 rebounds, a left-hander. He was great. How about Mark Aguirre took his team DePaul to the Final Four in 1979 as a freshman, averaged about 24, 25 points per game. And Bernard King, when he was at Tennessee, I mean, who did better than Bernard King as a freshman? 25 points, 11 rebounds. Allen Iverson was a great freshman at Georgetown, averaged over 20. There are a lot of great freshmen that went before Beasley that played against juniors and seniors. The game's different now. There are more freshmen and sophomores that are dominating and playing than ever before.
And I agree with you, Jay, and I think that's the point when you talk about Michael Beasley. He's had an outstanding year. He can score offensively, but he hasn't played against the same type of competition. Over the last 2 or 3 years, if you're 6'10", 6'9", can make a right, left-hand layup, you're going into the NBA. And you look at who he would play tonight. He would play guys like Julian Wright tonight. Against Texas, LaMarcus Aldridge would be a senior. I'm not saying he wouldn't have great numbers, but I don't think he would be playing like that against that type of competition.
No matter how long Michael Beasley stays with Kansas State, he's already etched himself in Wildcat lore by being able to deliver a home victory against Kansas. First time that had happened in 24 years. But most of these people behind us, they weren't even alive the last time the Jayhawks had to come back home after losing in Manhattan against Kansas State. Coming up, we'll have Pitt and Syracuse top of the hour, and then we've got plenty more to come. Deal or no deal for teams headed to the NCAA tournament? What is the best path they could possibly hope for? Say hello to our lovely models. Inside those cases, tournament teams, their fortunes, their fate hanging in the balance. Deal or no deal?
Welcome back to College Game Day, driven by State Farm.
You have watched me for weeks offer up spots in the NCAA tournament to deserving teams, but now the calendar has reached March. The stakes have gotten a little higher. How far can these teams go? It is time to play College Game Day's version of Deal or No Deal. Say hello to our lovely models, and inside all of these cases, tournament teams, their fate, their fortune, waiting in the balance. We will see what the banker has to offer for each of these teams, how far they can go, and let's say hello to our contestants right now. Two guys who really ought to know the deal on this because they make their entire living trying to figure out how far teams will go into the NCAA tournament. From Chapel Hill, North Carolina, let's give a Kansas welcome to Hubert Davis. And from Durham, North Carolina, a man who always looks at things from a legal perspective, the lawyer, Jay Billis. Ready to play Deal or No Deal?
Let's play, Howie.
Here is how our game works. Our banker, perched high atop Fog Allen Fieldhouse, will make an offer. His goal is to make the run for tournament teams as short as possible. Get them out before San Antonio. Keep costs to a minimum. Cases here, we have 8 of them. Hubert, you get to select first. Choose a case, Hubert.
Any case.
Any case you can choose.
Let me get the Big East. I like the Big East.
He takes the Big East, a very deep conference. Darcy, open the case. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Good season. Let me get the banker on the phone here. Banker, what is your offer for Notre Dame?
Big East. Notre Dame. Sweet 16.
A Sweet 16 offer for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Very intriguing, because in the post-Digger Phelps era, most of which has been a positive for Notre Dame. There has been only one Sweet 16 trip. So my question to you, Hubert Davis, Sweet 16 for Notre Dame. Deal or no deal?
I'd have to say no deal. No deal. You know why? Because of Luke Herringody. He's the guy. Goody, one of 6 guys in the country averaging 20 points and 10 rebounds. He just went off for 40 points the other night against Louisville. Absolutely fantastic.
Hubert, I am going with deal. I am taking the Sweet 16. Why? Because Goody has started shooting threes. Now that you've got Goody stepping away shooting threes, everything's gone haywire for Mike Bray. He needs to start rebounding with that team, get McElharney inside. Otherwise, it's all over for Notre Dame.
He made all 3 of his threes.
Goody, the deciding factor, and now Hubert has chosen a case. We have 7 cases left. Mr. Billis, choose a case.
I'm going to go Howie with the Big Ten.
The Big Ten, a malign conference. Nikki, open the case. Wisconsin. Wisconsin, a team that has been rebuilding a bit. I have to get the banker on the line. Banker, what is your best offer for Wisconsin?
Big Ten, Wisconsin, second round.
Second round, but hey, no Orlando Tucker. Badgers perhaps fortunate to be where they are.
No Cameron Taylor.
What do you say for Wisconsin second round? Deal or no deal?
I'm going no deal. I think Wisconsin has got second weekend potential. The second round isn't going to stop the big polar bear and their ability to defend. Wisconsin has only lost a couple of times this season. They have one at Texas. They've got very good guards. Trayvon Hughes is back healthy. I like Wisconsin to go further than the second round.
You know, for me, I would have to say deal. Yes, they're terrific defensively. Brian Butch has been outstanding. Michael Flowers has stepped it up on the offensive end. Their point guard, Trayvon Hughes, has been fantastic, but they can't score. They're only averaging 68 points a game. I don't like teams that can't score in the NCAA tournament. I say deal for Wisconsin.
But they can guard people, Howie.
It's a difference of opinion. That is how we try to raise the stakes on deal or no deal. 2 boxes have been selected. The drama is starting to build a little bit more. Only 6 boxes remaining. 6 cases to be open. Hubert, choose a case.
You know, we've gone with cold conferences. I want to get to someplace warm weather. How about Pac-10?
The Pac-10.
Yeah.
The deepest conference.
Pac-10.
Some say. The Pac-10. Gretchen, open the case. The Southern California Trojans, star-studded freshman team. Banker again on the line. Banker, what is your best offer right now for USC?
Pac-10, Southern Cal, second round.
Interesting. You know, they made it farther than that last year. And this year, they have O.J. Mayo.
Okay.
One of the most talented players in all of college basketball.
Yeah.
The banker could be selling you short.
Yeah.
For USC, second round, deal or no deal?
It's tough, Jay. You're from the West Coast. I'd have to say deal. I mean, they are playing great defense right now. This is a team that's won 3 games in a row. O.J. Mayo is a difference maker. But which team offensively is going to show up? The team that shares the basketball and takes good shots, or the team that goes one-on-one and only scores 46 points against UCLA?
See, I'm going no deal, Hubert. I just saw him again on Thursday night. And I would have said this Thursday night if I could have gotten a word in edgewise. My play-by-play guy wouldn't let me in. But O.J. Mayo is the real thing. Watching him more and more, he has figured it out. That young man can defend. He can score. I like them to go further than just the second round. And Davon Jefferson is incredibly explosive inside. What do you think, Howie?
I think perhaps the deal for all your play-by-play guys, they're just around to try to make sense of what's being said. It's something totally different. You have chosen 3 cases now, gentlemen. One big case out there remaining, the biggest prize of all, a Final Four trip, maybe a national championship trip. Jay, it is your option. Choose a case.
I don't know. Mid-major looks awfully good.
Colonial Athletic Conference?
Atlantic 10, yeah, you can go with the Atlantic 10 looks good. ACC. We ought to go ACC. You think all right, let's go with the Big 12. We're going Big 12, Howie.
Homestanding, hoping that perhaps inside that case is the ultimate prize in the Big 12. Claire, if you please, my dear, open the case.
Wow, what a surprise.
The Kansas Jayhawks. This will be an interesting offer that you two will have to mull over. Baker, what is your offer for the Jayhawks?
Big 12, Kansas, Final Four.
A Final Four offer for the Kansas Jayhawks. Hey, last 4 years, it's been boom or bust. Couple of first-round outs, couple of Elite 8 trips. But this Kansas team built for a championship. Banker might try to get him out before the title game. Kansas just to the Final Four. Jay Billis, deal or no deal?
I'm going to say deal, and I'll tell you why. I think Kansas should take the Final Four so Bill Self doesn't have to listen to this nonsense anymore. Bill Self is one of the best coaches in America. Since 1999, there have only been 2 coaches that have won more games, and that's Roy Williams and Mike Krzyzewski. This guy is the real deal, and he doesn't need a Final Four to prove it.
Jay, I disagree with you. No deal, because Kansas is more about winning championships, not just about winning a Final Four. They haven't been here since 2003. This is a team defensively, offensively. They got great balance. They can get to San Antonio and win a national championship. That's what they want. They don't want another Final Four banner. They want to win a championship.
I believe
Come on, man.
that you have now rallied them to your side.
Thank you.
The ultimate prize
after
being
the last couple weeks,
the national championship, and that wraps up our game of deal or no deal. Tournament fortunes at stake, but we still have big time money coming your way. There is one major case still to be opened. The State Farm half-court shot, $17,500 could be inside that case. Will the money be claimed? We'll see when you come back.
ESPN360.com, your online home for live coverage of Championship Week. Experience total control with the ability to pause, rewind, and fast forward. It's TV quality picture with the power of choice. Go online and watch all the drama of Championship Week unfold live. Catch the games you missed or replay your favorite moments. Don't miss a second of the action. Watch Championship Week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, March 7th through the 16th on ESPN360.com.
College Game Day is driven by State Farm. Great service, great rates. It's all here. Nobody takes care of you like State Farm. And in part by the first ever G8 from Pontiac, the official performance machines of the NCAA.
Do it all, Paul Harris getting set to lead Syracuse. That is coming up against Pittsburgh. That is coming up at the top of the hour, just a few moments away. And get set here on College Game Day to bring you down the home stretch and take you to the Big East in a bit. Time now for the ESPNU Hot Ticket, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. The Big Red of Cornell, they can clench the Ivy League with the win or a Brown loss. They play Harvard, does Cornell today, and try to get into the NCAA tournament. Ty Lawson expected to play if he's mobile enough in warm-ups to be able to give it a run against Boston College. Time now for the State Farm half-court shot. $17,500 at stake. The agent is Caleb Hale, representing the $17,500 State Farm agents in the U.S. and Canada. The shooter, Chris Wolf, a business major from Winona, Minnesota. Kansas plays fast and loose. Tell them about Indiana's young talent. Traded for the money.
Buckets.
Does that count? Not the $17,500, but State Farm will make a $1,000 contribution to the General Scholarship Fund as a result of the missed shot. Time now for the Pontiac Game Changer of the Day. Let's start up, Digger. Who do you have?
I'm going with Brooke Lopez at Stanford. Solid performance against Washington the other night. 21 points, 7 rebounds, averaging 15 a game since he's come back. Tough player. Gets it done against Wazoo.
I'm going to Kent State and their little 6'1 junior, Al Fisher. He had 28 points against St. Mary's. He started his career at Siena, transferred out. His cousin is Sharon Fisher at Niagara, the nation's leading scorer. Over 23 points per game his last 4. He is outstanding.
You know, for me, I've got Quentin Thomas of North Carolina. He's been absolutely fantastic with Ty Lawson, the starting point guard out. They are 6-1 with him in the lineup. In the 7 games that he's played, he's averaging 7 points, 7 assists, and only 3 turnovers, and shooting the ball at 58% from the field. He's been playing terrific basketball, taking care of the ball, and put UNC possibly being #1 team in the country at the beginning of next week.
And how about last week? Game changer, 28 minutes, 1 point. Davis, a guy with an eye for the game. He's got great feel. He knows what's going on in college basketball.
Wow. I'm trying to follow your lead with a firm grasp on the obvious, so I'm going to go with Tyler Hansbrough. Carolina. Hey, you scoffed? He played BC in the tournament last year. The ACC tournament was held to 9 points. Hansbrough needs to turn things around a little bit. He'll be the Pontiac.
Who's your game changer tonight, Michael Beasley?
Well, he's a good candidate, I would say, wouldn't you? How about the Pontiac Pontiac Saturday selection. I know when I'm whipped, I want to get somebody who can get it done for me. Let's get cranked up. Pontiac Saturday selection, Texas A&M and Oklahoma.
I've got Oklahoma. Texas A&M struggles on the road. Oklahoma will play with heart today.
You think? Yeah. I'm going with Texas A&M. I think Blake Griffin's good for Oklahoma, but they've been in the drought. Texas A&M's playing very well. Stay with A&M.
I'm going with Oklahoma after Jeff Capel's speech after the Nebraska game. I'm ready to play.
How about USC and Arizona State?
Well, Arizona State, they need to win this game. They've lost 8 out of their last 11 games.
Southern Cal, the silent enforcer, Davon Jefferson, playing very well for the Trojans as the third best player.
Southern Cal, but they're going to have to make great decisions against that Arizona State matchup zone. Arizona State does a great job with it.
Washington State taking on the second-place team in the Pac-10, Stanford.
I've got Stanford. They cannot match up with Brooke and Robin Lopez down low.
That's the issue right now. Stanford, Anthony Goods on the outside, Lopez is on the inside.
I'm going with Stanford, and the Wazoo's going to come after. Remember, Taylor Rochesty missed a layup to lose it the last time they played.
Georgetown and Marquette.
I got Marquette. They're playing terrific defensively, and their perimeter players are knocking down from the perimeter.
They can't start Hibbert. I'm going to go with Georgetown. I think they're too strong inside. That's going to be a difference in this game.
I'm going to go with Marquette. One thing they have to do is push the ball up the court and try to get some easy baskets in transition. I think Marquette can win at home.
Vanderbilt had a huge win over Tennessee. Arkansas, tough loss to Alabama. What about the Commodores and Hogs?
You know, I've got Arkansas. They need this win. They're a talented group, and this is a trap game for Vanderbilt.
Danny's going. Shane Foster, get it done. I love Vanderbilt.
It's a trap game, a danger game, but it can be a signature win for Arkansas. More cliches coming up later.
I would expect nothing less. St. Mary's and Gonzaga.
Gonzaga's going to win. There's no way that St. Mary's going to win at the Kendall. Jeremy Pargo will have a huge game.
Payback game. Payback. They lost to St. Mary's. The Zags will get it done.
Gonzaga's playing their best basketball of the year. Gonzaga wins at home.
All right, what about Pittsburgh and Syracuse?
You know, I like Syracuse. They're playing well at home. Dante Green, Johnny Flynn, they'll take care of business.
Paul Harris will get it done. The Cuse gets this big win they needed against Pitt.
I'm going with Syracuse, but Johnny Flynn's got to start knocking some shots down. He's been missing from the perimeter of late.
And then the headline game right here at the Fog tonight. Kansas and Kansas State. The Vandals this week went out and toppled a Wildcat statue that was sitting in the yard of an artist in Lawrence. Wasn't supposed to be a K-State Wildcat, but you see the disdain nonetheless. The top cat in the country is Michael Beasley. Who do you have tonight? Cats or the Jayhawks?
I feel better now. No one's booing me. Over the last couple weeks, they've been coming at me. You know who I've got. I've got Kansas winning the game tonight.
I'm going with Kansas because they're going for another payback game. They're going to get it done. Beasley can get his points. They'll shut out everybody else. Mario Chalmers, Brandon Rush know how to win.
Kansas did not guard them last time, but Mario Chalmers is going to get out and guard. Kansas is going to win the game.
That's almost Corso-esque from Billis there.
Okay.
The big head coming home to roost as Billis believes that the home stand